Hey guys, Melvin here. If you were listening live to our most recent podcast, then you'd know we were plagued with technical issues, which at this point goes hand in hand with unexplained possibilities. Unfortunately, I was unable to fix the issues at the time. I finally know the cause of them, and next podcast, it's definitely going to be buttery smooth with no problems. This one, however, I was too little too late, and it's just nothing I can do about it. So, unfortunately, it's going to be the raw episode of this, meaning that it's no edits done exactly. And I am truly sorry about that. And I hope you don't mind this inconvenience. But, like I said, next week's podcast, which is Wednesday the 28th, it will be much better. And once again, I apologize, but I still hope you enjoy this podcast, and be sure to leave a like if you do and subscribe if you'd like more. And once again, I promise you next week it will be no issues. Thank you all for listening, and see you Wednesday.
Okay.
This fixed the issue? Wow. Why is
We're
this
good
doing
now?
that? Kinda. I don't know what is happening here. It's
Melvin, I don't know.
well, we're streaming again, that's for sure. So,
Ah, okay. So that's good.
yes, that is good, and I don't know why this is fluctuating like it is. Okay, so you guys are gonna have to give me feedback real quick. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us both, I guess?
Yeah, can you hear both of us? Um, oh boy, did I just blow something up?
Did you blow something up, Melvin? You tearing things up?
Um,
What's wrong?
oh, okay. So, all right. So I guess you guys can hear us. Chris just gave us two hearts, and so far we're still
Good.
green. So, all
So
right.
that's
I'm
good.
gonna go with that then.
We'll take that. We'll take
Oh,
that.
and now it changed to red. What the heck? What in the world? This is a
And
new
I'm
one.
gonna.
So you guys are currently checking out a train wreck live.
And this is how it feels. Anything is possible. Well, and also, okay. Anything in my house, you better tame it down right now.
Yeah, well, is it still that
Oh,
Mercury in retrograde thing?
yes. All communications are just right now. So, yeah, uh, this would definitely kind of go with that.
Because
And yeah, thank you for reminding me, Nelson. Mercury in retrograde always seems to hate me, always tease. I mean, you know, I always feel like I get hit hard, hard. Like the first day of retrograde, I literally, that was the day my tire blew, and it was just like anything. It just totally did. It was like, and like, I'll be honest, I pouted all weekend, and just now I'm better. So yay! I guess now it's your turn.
yeah, I'm looking at this thing and we're just fluctuating up and down like crazy and all this stuff. And oh boy, I definitely have some settings wrong somewhere. I think I'm gonna have to get my old laptop and copy whatever settings I have on there to this one because I am doing something terribly wrong.
Oh, poor Melvin.
Yeah.
I I'm not a computer person, so I can't lie and pretend that I know. So yeah, you're you. maybe you just stink. I don't know. No, I don't think you stink. I think you probably know exactly what you're doing. It's just trying to be, what is the word? Ornery? That's a very Texas term, but ornery. Yeah.
We could go with that.
I'm going to try to pull up my laptop. That way, anybody asks questions or anything. So, I know why you try to get that configured. Um, you want to kind of like what you want to discuss tonight?
I do know. I just want to make sure everyone can hear us
Okay.
okay. That's the only issue. Like, I
If,
just want to
okay.
make sure they could
If
hear
you
us
can,
somewhat clear, at
okay.
least.
If you can hear us and it sounds okay, okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being horrible and 5 being great, how well is everybody hearing us? And if you can hear both Melvin and I both, just type Y for yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a delay because it's just one of those things. But, wow. Huh. Okay, so I'm doing that right. I'm still going over things while looking at this, trying to figure out what the heck happened. Am I supposed to click this? Maybe that's what happened. Oh no, that's for the
Oh heck, did you
recording.
not?
That doesn't matter. Okay, so Chris can hear us good, so that's
Good.
something.
Okay.
All right.
So
Yeah, wow. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know. I will figure this out eventually because, I'm limited in what I can do, but gosh darn it, I do want to give you the best I can give.
live and learn, dude. Live and learn.
So, okay. Now, back on track with things. So, this show was totally random and last second for the most part. And what happened was Bonnie and I, we were doing a review of Ghost Adventures, and somehow the audio jacked up.
Oh
And
gosh. Yes.
and that was just thrown in the trash. And the review was actually of the Ghost Adventures live Halloween special that they had. And to just sum it up shortly, just as quick as possible, it could have been better. It was just a little
Ugh,
bit too chaotic, and it could have been better.
too much. Yeah, too much going on.
So just that simple. And Zach kind of came off like a prick. All right, so
Yeah.
there you go.
You
There's our
think?
review of
There's our review
there's
in
our
this
review of the Ghost
in a
Adventures live
nutshell.
Halloween special. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight, it's going to be several different things, and it came about from actually several things. One of them came from Chris V, who's in chat right now. Hi, Chris. She hosts
Hi,
Paranormal and
Chris.
More, and you should all check her out. Make sure to sub to her. And she was having a discussion with some friends, and they went on to the subject of demons being, well, if demonic entities actually exist and stuff like that. And it got my hamster wheel spinning. It's like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Um,
All right.
so that was one of the things. Another thing was I was having a discussion with our behind the scenes person, Angie. She's the one who makes all the little logos and stuff like that. Stuff I just can't do. And we were talking
Awesome.
about spirits being inherently good or evil, and if there even is such a thing. And it got me again thinking. So I was like, huh, that's a good question. And finally, the final thing that did it was I was checking out one of Bonnie's favorite people. I won't say names, but she already knows who it is. And
Yes.
she mentioned something about, well, about there being a difference between demonic entities and devils, and I was like, it's are they two separate things? I have no idea. So of course I'm like, hey Bonnie, you ever heard of about demonic entities and devils being separate and stuff like that? So we're gonna discuss that and talk about it and everything. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Right, right. Always fun. Always fun when talking about the spooky stuff, Or I think so. Of course, it can seem to make, even when there is a retrograde going on, yeah, I always have fun times with that.
Okay, so
No
n-
telling what we're going
now I do want to say that even though like I'm probably gonna be asking you a lot of questions, Bonnie, I don't want
to.
people to look at you kind of like Messiah, quote unquote, because
Oh,
sometimes,
gosh.
yeah, because sometimes what happens is we tend to like when someone has experiences and stuff, and I've seen this so many times. We tend to always go to that person and ask about this, and this, and this. And one of the things is you're
Mm-hmm.
still learning about the paranormal world. You don't have all the answers to these
Right.
questions and such.
Right. No, I mean, it's a learning experience. I mean, even the ones that have been doing it for years and years, I'll tell you, it's something that, it's going to be something you always learn. There's going to be, even an artist can always improve within when it comes to their artwork. It's just kind of one of those things. It's the same deal.
Yep. So, all right, let's really begin, shall we? All right. So,
Sure.
Bonnie, what is the difference? Like we're jumping right into it. What's the difference between a human spirit, a demonic spirit or entity, a angelic entity, and
Okay.
something that we would call a god, deity, or entity?
Okay. Um, Definitely. Okay. So I will start. I guess we'll start off. Um, I hate to say bottom because, like, to me, it just depends on how you look at it. But like, okay, we'll start from bottom. I guess let's say, which is what all people want to consider demons or demonic, things that have been, let's say, misplaced or kicked out of heaven per se. um, Things that can cause chaos and it can cause sadness or havoc or amongst your life. Now, I've learned to not just really, I would say I don't fear them. Used to, it'd be something that I was like, oh, we're not going to deal with that. We're not going to talk about it. Those were things when I first started learning and dealing and doing things like this, um, that I was kind of, I just, you always hear the negative things about. So those are the ones that most people are frightened of. Yes, they can cause havoc. Yes, they can. I mean, even people that have been, like, let's say when it talks to doing magic or working in magic, I have friends that do that. Well, a lot of these people will use demons to help them, aid them in their magic, or help aid them in their work. And it is something that I've learned to respect and not fear in that way per se, because number one, I am protected. I know that I can protect myself also, as well, and even the some of the people that have been doing this for years will tell you not to ever fully trust one, because it is what it is. It is a demon, so you can't 100% put your trust in it. um an angelic, I'll go straight to the other opposite end of that. It would be something like, your archangels, your high vibrational entities, beings, so forth. When I've encountered them, usually they're very bright. I really don't, I've never seen much of a face. if ever. There's been a couple of times where it's like maybe a little bit of a face here and there, but most of the time they are so light. They have so much light surrounding them, because they do mean well. They do mean to protect you and keep you on the right path, the right track, whatnot, and help you in ways as well. So these are all things that we're going to come across, and I feel like everybody can't, number one, I feel like everybody um, has the ability to be open. It's just whether or not you're willing to, I guess, kind of step into that and accept it, and to, um, there's a lot of work that goes with it. It's, as a kid, this was something that um, I would, I mean, I guess like now my mentor, looking back, my mentor was like, "Oh, honey, you were channeling, this whole time." I didn't realize what channeling was. And as a kid, I would, like, I, I call it now. It was almost like when you, I'm trying to look for the word, but when you daydream, but like not, it was similar to daydreaming. And I would kind of just be able, it was weird. Everything was foggy, but yet it made sense. And things would just, I would see different things. And it used to scare me. It's taken a long time and so forth, but now those things like this don't scare me as much anymore. I've realized that there are ways that I can protect myself. Now, you mentioned human spirit. A human spirit just is that a human spirit is a non-corporeal human that does not have a body anymore, that has passed away, or so forth. And for whatever reason, they are still hanging around. Sometimes it is because a loved one, I mean, I've seen it to where a loved one will hold that person's energy and kind of, I wouldn't say keep it stuck, but um, they have. It has, I mean, like we do when we're really attached to somebody and we're not ready for them to go. It makes it hard for them to want to leave us because, it's like if you love somebody, you don't want to just leave them if we know that if we're needed. You said, okay, so like the godlike would just be that. I mean, like I've never bumped into a god. I feel like, I guess I'm just that human. Um, and to those of you who have, well, congratulations, because that's some high stuff. Like now, I do work with the Morrigan, which is some people are kind of frightened of her because she's kind of like a dark goddess. However, she is just a powerful female, in my opinion. She's somebody that has gone through hard times and good, and she's one of those people that just keeps standing up every time the world kicks her down. And that she is my goddess, and I guess I've come in contact with her, and to me that is as close to any god like deity that I would say I've come in contact with. And yes, that is almost on a personal level. That like this weekend when I'm feeling sorry for myself, it was like, get up, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't gonna allow me to stick in that attitude for too long. When I want to be really, really, let's say, gosh, I can be rebellious or hard headed. Um, she something about her strength. I know that she just kind of holds me up when I physically don't see how I can do it. And it's that her embodiment that, is just, I look up to it, and I don't want to disappoint her. I guess it's kind of funny. She's awesome. I guess I sound very, very biased, but she is my goddess, and I mean, I couldn't say enough about her. I mean, she's, very protective, and she helps women in need. And not just women, but, most people that I've come in contact that do have, that use her are female, but there are a slew of men that actually look to her as well.
Okay.
But as devils, okay, like when it says to a devil, kind of get into that one thing. Even the Goetta, when the Lesser Keys of Solomon and so forth, they talk about one devil. Like all these demons, these legions, they do work under, except for Belial. Belial is without a god, but um, without a master. I'm sorry. But most of those do work under Lucifer, or the devil, or whatnot.
Well, that's kind of scary.
I guess it can be if you allow it to be
Yeah.
scary. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, so this actually takes me into this. Two things. One, you did kind of come in contact with another somewhat god deity. Not really a god. Well, if you go by Norse mythology, technically he isn't a god, but he may as well be.
Hee hee.
Uh,
Oh, Loki.
Loki, yes.
Yeah, that was interesting enough. Which was funny because at this time I really wasn't even familiar with my my family's bloodline of having, we do have Scandinavian roots, and quite a bit for, when you do your DNA profiles. You've got that English makeup. We have the English, then the Scottish and Irish, but then it's like boom, there's that Scandinavian, which is like 20 something. It was big, for when it comes to that kind of a makeup. And I'm like, oh, okay. But before I even knew that, I'd gone to Colorado. I was traveling up high in the mountains, and something about when you get high up in the mountains like that, you just are, I, you don't know what to expect. And it was like the higher we traveled, um, I don't know. It was weird. It was like I felt like at first I said I need to get my pen and paper out because I was going to take notes, right? And then it came to where I stuck my pen into my left hand, which I do not do because I am right-handed. Um, and I just started jotting, which, of course, is a form of automatic writing. Okay, I had never really done that before, but I was like, okay, well, let's see what goes. And I'm looking down and I'm like, that's just a scribbles. This is scribbles. What the heck is this? And I go back and I find out later because I sent it to some friends and they're like, no, that's, there's runes in there, and there's some Ogam, which is, a Celtic thing too. So I was writing in very real, I guess you'd say, I wouldn't say languages, eh, text or whatnot. Um, but when I felt this energy come over me, and it was like we're driving the car, but like whatever it was, or it was like, but it was set up on top of my lap. It perched up, and it was holding my hand. And I'm most of the time I'm able to push any energy out or away from me that I am like, wait a minute, you're getting too close. I want to use my own body. You're not allowed, I don't just allow things to jump in. Well, this one was giving me a little bit for my go there. And ultimately, I think he pretty much, I would say, won that little battle, because next thing I know, my hand's going, and that's where a lot of these things came out. And it was like the whole time I'm like, this thing is laughing at me. And my friend that I was with you kept saying, oh my God, Loki, or something Loki. It kept, and it's like, huh, that makes sense now because it was like I remember very clearly as this thing was laughing at me. He's like, I like her spirit. She's fiery. And I'm going, like, who are you? What are, leave me alone. What the heck have I gotten myself into? And I literally could not wait. All I kept waiting is I want to get down from the mountains. I just want to go home. I just want to go back. And then it was funny because the whole next day I was just exhausted and like my energy completely drained and done. So yeah, um, it's weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the worst part is nothing you can do about it for pretty much. It's like, no, I'm gonna toy with you. I'm toying with you. Done. Take it.
yeah, it was. Oh yeah, and I mean it was weird because like after he kind of like just used me. Like that sounds so bad, but I do feel like he used me. But they say he can be a trickster, and it makes sense as to why now. Now knowing more about Loki, makes sense as to why he was laughing and having amusing himself so much. So and of course I guess my whole roots, my background, and everything. Um, it makes sense now that he would come. But yeah, like it would have been a little bit easier. Like Freya or somebody else would have come first,
Yeah.
like ease me into the whole thing. But no,
No,
we
you
get
you get the ultimate trickster.
yeah, well, it's me.
So
Always tease. It's like, well, I guess now go for the gold. Now, like, at least I guess it gets easier after that. With when it well, let's just say with the Norse, maybe.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say because if I say that, then I'm gonna open myself to a whole book of worms or can of worms or something.
Yeah,
Nope.
no need for that. Okay, now the second thing is this whole demonic thing. All right, so mostly people, well, at the moment, in modern times, people mostly know about demons thanks to paranormal TV shows like Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters,
Mhm.
etc., etc., The Dead Files. All right, so usually on these shows, they just straight away say demons are evil, they should never be trusted, and this and that. Do you actually think that's true? Are demons just inherently evil, or is this something that we as people just put on them because we just can't understand their nature?
I think it's honestly a little of both. I think that yes, we should always be aware, but I think that's any energy that we come in contact with. Always, number one, we have our instinct, we have our gut, and that's for a reason. Um, we have to learn to trust ourselves and get in tune with ourselves enough to be able to know the difference. Also, yes, they can have malicious um, motives, um, and they're not always going to just give without receiving something back. Now, when I say receiving something back, I am not talking about your immortal souls. Some might, but a lot of times that is not the case. A lot of times they just kind of want to be heard out and given a little bit of respect and hey, we're not as bad as we're made out to be. And in some cases, I've ran into one for particular that it's like huh, not nearly as scary as I guess I figured a demon would be. Like um, having that, I would have figured all kinds of things would have gone weird in my house. Nothing weird happened, no nightmares, nothing like that. Um, it really was about the same as any other presents I've ever picked up, to be honest.
So it sounds like it's a respect thing more so than because I'm
Yes,
assuming
right, like very much.
yeah, I'm assuming they're pretty old and they are more intelligent than us because they understand things that we don't even know exist. And there are motorcycles rushing by. Way to go, guys. Like, seriously? Why are you. Anyway, um, yeah, they know about stuff that we can't even fathom. And oftentimes we do just automatically say, nope, they're evil, don't trust them, get away from them. And then you have some people who do provoke them and tempt them, and it kind of is an insult to one's intelligence. When you're viewed as a bug, and here you are coming up like you're the big
Yeah,
man.
man, I wanted to help you, but yeah, like
So,
like I just wanted a little bit of like, like don't, um like I guess like okay, they're you know demons, we look at them, okay, well they were cast out of heaven and stuff, so we're going to assume that they've done something horrid. And like some of them it's just like, okay, if you can put it into nowadays terms, okay, so and not okay, so ew, okay, ew, the what I'm going to use is like, so if we use our president, uh, and everybody looks at him like this wonderful savior, and then the ones that are standing up to him, guess what, they're being cast out and shunned down and looked negatively upon, right? Same type of scenario. Like,
oh
how would you
wow.
feel if, well, what if like Trump said, Melvin, you suck, you're a horrible person, we're going to
As much smoke
disown
as I
you.
talk about, he just,
But that would turn you, but let's say we demonized you.
yeah,
But I mean, so right. So some of these guys literally like maybe just wanted a little bit of attention, or that maybe that they were, that whatever God wasn't wanting to give them, and they got upset.
yeah, maybe
Okay,
that's
so there you go.
very interesting.
We don't know all the answers. What I'm saying is, there's you've got the Bible, which, and that's one thing that, even raised as a Christian as I was growing up, it was like, but mom, like a human wrote this, right? Like, so if a person wrote this, then a person could put their own interpretation. No, it was a man of God, but no, a human still wrote it. A human is still capable of putting their own interpretation in what they want. And like, so to me, it's, some people are going to always go straight 100% by the Bible, and that's fine. That's, if that's what works for them, I say go for it, because in this world we have to find what works for us. And I would always tell that, I don't care what religion or what you look for, as long as it works for you and helps you to improve, to be a better human, right? Not be like a crap person, then that's, go for it. um, but as long, and long as we can find that medium, that where we're not bashing others for what they believe, I feel like that is kind of the biggest goal, that we could all, like, if everybody was to get on that same type mentality, we would have, so things would be a lot easier. But of course, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Gosh, do I sound like a negative Nelly? But it's the sad. It's honest. It's being real. Um, if we had everybody on the same boat, things would be way too easy to, things
And
would go too smoothly.
it's also two sides to every story. So,
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
I remember one conversation. This was when you were at Goat Man's, or came back from Goat Man's, and it really got me thinking because of what happened to the guy there. I mean, it was pretty horrific,
Yeah,
and
it's awful.
perhaps we become our own demons from circumstances in life.
I love that. Yeah. Yes. 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 I think we can become our own demons. Or we can choose to be our own God type beings. We can put our best foot forward, or we could like let all the negativity that's happened to us change us into a monster. And yeah,
Yeah, and it's
so we
very
can either
interesting.
rise above it or not.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting because that's very similar to something Miss Pearl said. No one knows who Pearl is. Everyone's like, "Who?" And
Oh,
I'm
well,
not.
let's introduce Miss Pearl. I think Miss Pearl wants her little shout out now. Pearl, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's like, okay. No, yeah, so putting Melvin on the spot. Yay, Melvin! Everybody clap! Yay! All right. No, So Pearl, it's funny, and I was helping. He was like, okay, well, Melvin goes, well, what if I want to get to know my guides and so forth? And I said, well, it's not as hard as it seems. Now, being able to trust what you get is one thing, but he's like, I hear Pearl. I said, well, then that's what she wants you to call her. Our guides and so forth may not give us their actual names or whatnot, but they'll tell us what they want to be called. Like I always tease my mentor, his one of his guides has him to call him Willie, just straight Willie, and that's just so weird. I'm like, oh, okay, well then, Luckito isn't too strange because at least that sounds like a strong Native American name, whatever. But like Willie, I was okay. Down. I don't even know what to think. But they do. They give us what they want, and they'll show us how they are. Now, I didn't want to feed too much, but I did. I got excited because me and Melvin were talking one night, and I got excited because in my house, like this one spot, it was like this spot in my house. I've never seen such a spark. I'm a pretty tough chick, but I do like glitter and sparkly things.
Unicorns.
So
stuff where it's like,
yeah,
oh my god, the unicorn vomited on that.
And gooey stuff that we're not. Oh my gosh, I'm grossing myself out with all the girliness. But like, I saw this big burst of light with the sparkles and just prettiness and glittery stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, Melvin. There, and it was kind of funny because it's like, there goes his interest in the unexplained and what is out in our, what is, possibly out in our great beyond, what's on earth as it is, because whatever is with Melvin is so much bigger than anything that's lived on this planet. It was quite amazing because all I could see was just stardust is what I want to call it. And I was like, that's Pearl, I think. I said, I'm just seeing this burst of bright light and shimmery, glittery prettiness. And he was like, what? And I'm like, no, oh my gosh. And it's weird. So, you had a few moments yourself, right? I mean, feel free to explain, because once you kind of like accept these things and are more open, don't think that they won't ever happen. Just always try to be open for it. If that's something, I know a lot of people are like, well, I want this experience. Well, be careful what you wish for. Because if you are open enough and willing, it can happen. Am I wrong, Melvin?
I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, definitely be careful what you wish for, because that's how I ended up.
No, because now my brain has been. Yeah, you're gonna be straight. Yeah, like if you're like Melvin, your brain is gonna just be okay. Now I need more info. And sometimes they just might not give it to you the way you want it.
Yeah.
They're not going to just write out a paper.
And that's very annoying to me. It's like, are you kidding me? What the heck is this? Like, seriously? Like, okay. Like,
you have to work.
Like, no. Sometimes, if you're going to show up and light up like a Christmas tree, and you
Yep.
have that type of entrance, and then you're going to poof, vanish, and then, every now and then, oh, wow. You know what? Something is telling me to shut up.
Just now?
not literally shut up, but it's like, better watch what I
finger
say.
wag.
Yeah.
Yeah, word. Well, we tease because there's the finger wagging. You know that.
Yeah.
And I guess before you realize it, it's when you're not open, or you're not using your gifts and abilities, like I said, that I feel that everybody is born to have. But when we're not using those, it's almost like your internal finger wagging. Well, it's on a different type of level, because it's almost like sometimes I've had it where I've literally been bonked in the head. So yeah, like you don't want a harsh finger wagging.
Yeah. So, but
You're like, no, thank you.
no, but basically, and normally I don't share things like this, so you guys are getting this for the first time ever.
I
But
love this.
yeah, so consider yourselves fortunate. Who knows?
He's gonna kill me later.
I might actually edit this out, but no, no, no. Like, okay, so with Pearl, for instance, oh, later, Grave. With Pearl, for instance,
Later.
so like when we were discussing the spirit guides and all that, like you're like
Hmm.
you gotta meditate, and I was like, all right, we'll try this meditation and all that. I'll look like a yogi or sit like a pretzel and everything,
Jokey.
and I kid you not, I heard that name Pearl. It was very quiet, but it was like it yelled it like Pearl, just super quick. It was a female. Like I heard this clear as day, and I got up. I was like, "What the heck?" Okay, did that just happen? And the name Pearl, like when I told you, you immediately said, "You know what? That makes sense." Of course, I didn't connect the
Hmm.
dots. I was like, "What does that make sense? I don't get it." It's like, oh,
Hmm.
because pearls are kind of, you know, bright and
Pearlescent.
yeah, pearlescent and all that stuff. They have a very interesting look to them, and if you've seen something that's pearlescent, you won't forget it. So,
Nope.
yeah, I get that name Pearl, and I was telling you about it, and I don't know if it was this time. Yeah, it was this time. You took out your, is it a SB7?
Yes. Spirit box.
And
Yes.
a voice actually came through that was yelling. So I won't
Yes.
forget that. It was one that was yelling. It was a female, and it was like, uh-oh, I think I better pay attention.
Uh-huh. I mean, like, it was neat because it was almost like it knew that he needed that, I guess, that reassurance. Like, okay, like if I have to do it on the spirit box, I'll do so. Okay, but here we go. And it did. I mean, so that um he was like, okay, I'll take it then. You know what I mean? At
Yeah,
that point, he was being so stubborn, but like, you know, after he already thought it and then it comes through, yeah, there you go.
and then
It's, you know, it's like when you it's when you get something to repeat something off of the spirit box and it's like, oh, okay, well then, you know, maybe there's something to this.
very slowly, because I'm still getting into the meditation thing, but very slowly, I honestly got, because I don't dream. I've said this for the longest time. I don't dream, or if I
Used to
do
not
dream,
drink.
I very rarely remember whatever happened. And for the last month and a half, I've had a couple of dreams that I actually recall, and it's kind of weird for me. One of them, though, I remember seeing a message that said "steeped in light." No clue what that means, and except that the next day or whatever, it was literally had a dream about being in a giant thing of light. And when I say giant, it was a very, very bright white light. So it was like, okay, well, that's interesting.
Mhm. It is neat how it works, like these things that will come. It's you know, you learn to start trusting them a little more and a little more. I remember, you know, when I first, I guess I'd say, not that, you know, I when I first started, I guess working and doing more into the paranormal, and like instead of being frightened and running like a little kid, I it was weird. It was like, okay, if I just say what I'm feeling to somebody that I feel like they're needing to hear it, I'm just going to do it. And once I started doing that, it was usually something that needed to be told to that person. It was usually something that made sense and um, gave them what they needed. And in a odd way, it helped me feel. I wouldn't say it was. It would made me confirm my what I have. Of course, yes, that always does help. However, knowing that whatever I'm passing on, whatever message it makes me feel better that I can give them some comfort, I guess you would say. Just me being that, like that medium, that person in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to loved ones. I've done readings, just like tarot readings, and then like some aunt or uncle or odd, whatnot, comes along and decides they want to say something. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so weird. But I've gotten right but I've gotten to where I trust it, and I just will say, okay. And if you had an uncle that passed away, maybe a heart attack, he wanted to say, everything's good. Okay. you know, and I'll try to throw that in there, and they're like, oh my gosh, how did you know? I'm like, well, I didn't know, like, but he told me. You know what I mean? So it's something that slowly, I guess, develops to where you can, like I said, even the ones that have had it for years, like, if you've ever paid attention to like Amy Ellen from the Death Files, her story is like she even went to Paris, got tested by parapsychologists because of her abilities. I mean, now hers was a little bit scarier. When she was a kid, she was like hanging out with shadow people that were trying to get her to do really bad things, like stick forks in plugs and stuff like that. And they're like,
Oh,
oh, that's probably not what you want to do.
you see,
So,
that'll get you locked up. That's the type of stuff where it's like, but honestly, the little man
oh,
told me to do it. So,
right. And that's why I always, when it comes to little kids, and when they're dealing with something, I'm very, very cautious and mindful, because um, when we're kids, we're not, when we're too young. We're too, like, that's kind of like even what Amy Ellen will say. We're too young to deal with it. That they need to go away for now, until a person can kind of develop and learn to deal with these things. Go away. I can't help you right now. You need to go. And to not be afraid, and to learn how to empower themselves. That's one thing that you have to be able to do, is empower yourself with something that makes you feel strong, that makes you feel secure and grounded.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. And you know what? Since we were just talking about guys for a second, let's stay on that for a bit. And
Okay.
this is something that I struggle with, and I'm sure other people will struggle with, because I can guarantee you that one of these people who are listening or will be listening in the future is going to meditate and try to communicate with their guides and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How can you separate something that is just your imagination in your head versus someone or something that actually is one of your guides? And I'll give you an example.
Uh,
For me, most recently, and I told you about this, Bonnie, I was doing my
mhm.
meditations because I'm getting into a groove with that. And
Right.
I hear the name Pixie. No, first I hear, hi, Welvin. Literally, Welvin, not Melvin, Welvin.
You heard a
And
list. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, hi, Welvin. I'm like, what the heck? And I remember seeing an image. It was a flower that very much reminded me of a daisy, and especially the petals. And it was something like in front of it, and its wings were like, yes, it had wings, and it was like flower petals almost, or something. I don't know. I can't explain it. It was very weird. And I remember the name Pixie. And I'm like,
Right.
I tell Bonnie, and I'm like, okay, so I don't know if this is in my head or not, but I just had this weird thing. So, how do you separate the
Right.
two? Because I still don't know if it's in my head or not.
Well, I don't think it's in your head. I've already told you, but number and what you've explained, really, honestly, when I've pixies are so much, I would, are similar to a fairy in my opinion. Now, when you would talk, well, especially when you talk about the way people have portrayed them over the years, I've come across one fairy, and it had almost leaf-like wings. Now, it was more smoky than anything, but its wings looked like a leaf. It was really interesting. So that's why I was like, interesting. He said that, and the description you gave, and so forth. But when you're going into meditation, Try not to expect anything when you're going in. And what I would say is the best way is to not think, to like absolutely, and this can be the hardest thing for some people, and I know some people are like, I can't empty my mind. You have to let go of every thought that's trying to circle around you. Get a blank screen. If you have to stare at a blank TV for 10 minutes prior to meditating, then whatever it takes to kind of just empty out your head from the chaos of the day, do so. That's why a lot of people like, doing it at night, or like even when we have experiences, it's in the evening when things have slowed down, the chaos of the day is kind of winding to an end, and it's not that it's more active at night per se, it's that we are winding down ourselves, that things are slower, to where we can actually pay attention to them a little more. So whatever time of day that is for you, that things are not hectic and chaotic. Sometimes for some people, it's early in the morning. When they're, before they've had their first cup of coffee or whatnot. Don't allow any things or any thoughts or any pictures in your head until you start that meditation. When that meditation starts, that's when you pay attention to the different pictures. And if you see a whole flurry of different pictures, that's okay. I feel like that's all right. The ones that stand out, that feel familiar to you, even though they're not, if that makes sense, those are the ones that you really need to kind of like, okay, this is something. Also, like the word pixie. Like, come on, Melvin, I've never heard you say pixie ever. It's especially if it's something that is just kind of random and that it's not a word or a thought that you would normally take. Those are big clues and keys into what something might be, like when Lakito came. Come on, and it was Lakito. It was really Lakito. I heard that, and he is, when I talk about my guides, Holly is very sweet and kind, and kind of like a little hover mom, and very different. Lakito will say one word or two words, and I better pay attention when he does, because when he comes and he gives me something, it's usually important, and he'll be the one to bop me in the back of the head if I'm not paying attention. It's not that he's being mean. He does what it takes. I guess what's necessary. I just feel like I'm being told what's necessary because I'm stubborn sometimes. Oh, wow. Like, that was kind of rude right in the middle of this. But yeah, I feel like, okay, he's like, I'm being told. It's when I'm being stubborn and I don't want to listen is kind of when we get those bumps. And yeah, so empty out. Don't, like, the best thing is don't go into with expectations. Like, I love it. One of my very closest friends, she's like, I can't meet my guides. I said, because you're expecting to. You've got to not, you've got to empty everything. But I can't. I was like, yes, you can. Like, just zone out for a minute and not focus so hard, because when we're over focused, we're expecting things and we're putting pictures in our head that really aren't meant to be there. But when we're able to empty it out, that's when they come better and come more clear.
Now, you see, I guess I have an advantage than most people in that because it's not much happening in my dome to begin with.
Oh my
It's
goodness, how
true. Like,
funny is
I
that?
literally fire off like maybe one cylinder out of eight. And it's just
Oh Lord.
so
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
So
I feel and I feel like somebody, I don't know why, but I feel like somebody out there has really been working with meeting theirs. I don't know if it's somebody that's watching right now.
um
I feel like, yeah.
it could be, and I'm gonna bet it is Chris. So
Okay.
that's gonna be my guess.
Because has somebody been working to meet their guide? Because you've met them, you've seen them, but I think it's kind of, okay, have you like passed it off like as to your, okay, I can see you. Hey, Chris, have you passed, like, ignored it? Okay, don't ignore it. You're seeing her. Is it a she?
Remember, there's a bit of a delay, so
Oh, it's fine. Okay, because I feel like it's a she. There's like a feminine energy. But yeah, like don't pass this off because it's cool, it's real. So yeah, but okay, yeah, don't pass it away. Don't pass it off. You're getting it. Oh, okay. Well, she's got a name. That's awesome, Sam. Sam Ham. Now you know what's funny is here you are saying how odd the pixie was to you, and I don't even know if I told you. I might have told you this, Melvin. It was like when I went to I had went to a little metaphysical shop up in um, oh gosh, it's in Flower Mound, where close to where I used to live near Denton and everything. And I took my son because they had a kids workshop because my kids, are open and I want them, sometimes mom, even though mom, you know, is able to do what she does, it's cooler when it's somebody else teaching you. Um, and oh, the English man, love it. Um, Even though mom knows what she's doing, like it's easier when somebody else is helping them. And I understand it. I get it. I mean, like I try not to let it hurt my feelings or whatnot, But we did this guided meditations and the parents sat along with the kids and did it. And like I've met my guys, so I'm thinking, okay. And all of a sudden, I can't remember what Toby got. He got a little bit, but he couldn't see it clearly. But Toby had the smirk on, like I think he wasn't going to let me know as much as he saw. So he only gave out a little bit of information. That's just my son. That's just how he is. But I got a new one, and I literally saw a dude in a white suit sitting on a bench, like a park bench. And I'm going, huh, that looks like Forrest Gump. And no, my name is Tom. Tom. Ha ha. I said, now you're funny. I said, okay. Now this one hasn't said a lot. I haven't gotten to work with him a whole lot at all yet. But I am sure it's coming, and I'm going, oh my goodness, this one's gonna be funny, So I'm like, great, this is gonna be interesting. So yeah, Tom, Tom, good lord, couldn't he have gone and show himself as Forrest Gump? And I'm going, sometimes they do what they know will work with us. And so, yeah, I'm going, okay, I see the humor, you know?
yeah, well,
And so, yeah.
whatever it takes to get your attention. Sometimes,
And I,
apparently.
and I looked and I told like and she's another gifted person, but I looked at her and I said, Tom, and he looks like Forrest Gump. And everybody laughs and I was like, oh my gosh, this would only happen to me, but no, I know there's so many of us out there that it's quirky and it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. But like we'll have guides. Like there's some of, like Tom might be just around for a minute. Um, we will have different guides that will come and help us through different parts of our life or things that we're learning, and our advancement and in our growth and so forth. That they're going, like Pixie may be there forever, or she may be here for this new little phase you're going through and learning.
Yeah, she might be here to work some magic here.
Oh, interesting. You said that. Okay, interesting.
No, what's even
So
more interesting
that's it.
is I was actually thinking about when you're talking about Forrest and stuff, it kind of popped in my head like, she might be here to work some magic. And that's so, huh.
How odd is that? See, no, now and see how funny how they'll kind of like throw their little okay, like he's listening, so this is the time I'm gonna kind of get a little more info in, and it's weird. It's like when you think you're closed off, but you're focused on something else. You know what I mean? So much so that when we get these little things in our head, that's when you pay attention because that didn't come out of nowhere. I wasn't saying anything about magic.
No, no, not at all.
Interesting. So pretty cool. But see, guys, that's how you do it right there. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, just when you don't
Neat.
expect
Oh,
it and it's the smallest thing.
it's there, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah. It's that's that weird. Um, yeah, it's hard to explain at times. Um, can you? Yeah, I sure will. Yeah, it's. I think that sometimes we expect so much out of ourselves that we like, okay, it's almost like when you put too many in a, I want to, well, I'm not a car person, so a car would be a really bad way to put it. But let's say, okay, our brain, like when we have so many sparks running that sometimes we like blow a fuse up there, and we can't overthink things when it comes to this. I know it sounds so funny, but it's like when it comes to meeting your guys and trying to be open, that's really when you need to empty out, if that makes
Well,
sense.
now it's even more funny because you were about to use a card thing. You went to a fuse though, which still they're in cars. And what did I say? That I
Uh-huh.
ran on one cylinder. So
Ah, oh, how weird.
so
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there you go. Well, they need whatever works for you, Melvin. There, somebody is definitely like screaming at you again today.
okay.
And this one does not sound like Pearl at all.
No,
Pearl's
this
really like, just when the one little glimpse I got, she just seems so sweet. That's all I can say. Sweet,
so
you
now
know.
this could be the pixie.
Uh-huh. This is interesting. This is so cool. But no, yeah, like those now are guides. Um, I, and I know the person that Melvin mentioned earlier that kind of just, I don't, she just gets under my skin a little bit, a
Yeah,
lot.
this
Okay, that this person,
I'm
oh
sorry. Let me
gosh,
mute my mic
she
because
does
she is
though,
just
because oh my gosh, I just want to scream her name. Oh no, because like I feel like she is gifted. I'm not gonna cram her and say, but I feel like it's so jumbled and confused, and maybe she hasn't channeled it in the right way, and it she ends up contradicting herself a lot, you know. And you know there will be times that, you know, the more we learn, it's like, okay, like me myself, I'm human. I'll be like, you know, I've messed up. This is not the way it is. I'm da da da, and I'll try to admit that. But she'll contradict so much that I'm like, I always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's telling people these things, and it's like your guides or angel. I can't. So many weird ways she'll put it, but like angels, I guess, or I don't know. She's also met Jesus or
Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Get the name right. Darn it, Bonnie. Yeshua.
Oh my gosh. Well, she's special because I've not met Yeshua. Or maybe she's just cooler than I am. I don't know. But I have, you know, I've met a few she hasn't, but she would probably say I'm going to hell, and that's why I've met a few that I've met. So let's go there. Oh well,
Yeah, long
whatever,
story
whatever.
short,
I'm okay with where I'm going. I
this
feel like I'm a pretty decent human. Like I'm not a horrible person at all. I don't think. I think I try to be sweet and kind to everybody,
well, you
unless you
see,
really are mean to me, and then I protect myself. That's all.
that's a cover. We all know you're like one of those short, crazy, short-tempered chicks who's ready to stab someone that looks
Crazy?
at you wrong.
He added crazy. Huh.
No, but what
Yes, that's how you do it.
what it
That's how you do it.
is this particular medium, demonologist, whatever she wants to call herself. She just drives Bonnie up a wall. I find
Can
her
y'all
kind of
hear my
entertaining,
eyeballs rolling?
and
Can y'all hear my eyeballs rolling?
so from time to time, I'll link her a video just to annoy her because
Get my day to set my day off wrong. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just ruined my. I said, what is she saying now? This person is crazy.
It was just the best reaction.
It's well, no, like my whole favorite series was the whole Keanu Reeves, where
Oh,
she almost looked like there she was. What was she trying to like? Oh my God, was she
basically,
channel it? Like,
she had a message for Keanu Reeves, and she was claiming that it was
so that
from one of his relatives or something, and she kind of
I have
came
a
off
message for
as
Brad Pitt.
yeah,
How about this? I have a message for Brad Pitt.
she came off as very nuts and stuff. But the thing is, I think she was very sincere about it. I don't think that
I
she
think
had.
she sincerely wanted his attention. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm talking as a female knowing females. And I have a message for Brad Pitt right now. You are one sexy beast. Just saying. But no, like that was just my message. Like that is not from spirit. I'm just saying. Yeah, this this chick. Yeah, no, she really was doing a message for Keanu Reeves. I don't know. It was
So
weird.
you guys wanted to check
It
her
was
out, you could figure it out from that. Literally just type in that and she'll pop up. So
yeah, a message for Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find it on the
Kate
YouTubes. It's
Beckinsale. Um,
oh, they're okay. Looky there. We know who. Oh, Kate Beckinsale is pretty. She's a diva. Like I wouldn't say like in a bad way diva. She's really pretty chick. So I can like she's. I guess you would say like a hottie. Is that right?
sure,
Justin
we'll go with
Timberlake.
that.
Let's.
I
Oh my God, we're gonna have a slew of medium messages online for all these celebrities, and they're. It's gonna be great. Oh
so,
my goodness.
but but okay. So last thing about guides before we move on to something else. All right. So you once told me
This is typical.
that usually you make a pact with a guide or someone before you're born into the world or something like that. I'm probably
Right.
oversimplifying it. And, like you just
Yeah.
said not too long ago, that some guides are here permanently and
Mm-hmm.
some are not. Um, I'll use Pearl as an example. We think that she might be with me not only forever in this life, but possible past
I
lives, which is
I feel like yeah, I feel like there's a very closeness that she has with Melvin. So yes, like so before we're born, kind of like they say, well, we pick our parents, we pick our destiny, or kind of like our mark, like the important marks and the people in it in life. So like we're gonna have these guides and so forth too. A lot of times from what I've learned and so forth through my mentors and just kind of dealing with it is that our guides have been around long enough to where they're able to guide us in the right direction. Like, like nobody would ever let me be a guide. Not yet. Because I'd be like, here, let's do this. I'm like, no, wait, no. Let's, they would not, I would not be allowed to be a guide yet. I'm just too mischievous. So Bonnie would not be a good guide because Bonnie might get you in trouble. But somebody that has a little bit less of that um, let's make bad decisions vibe to them. Yeah, they've been around long enough that they know what path is the right one for us, um, and we kind of like, hey, let's work together, help me through this, and yeah, we choose them, they accept or whatnot, and that's who we get. And if it's willed to be, like, then we learn to get to know that guide or whatnot. And it does seem like, and I'm noticing, I was reading something earlier that a lot of people are going, and not saying that they're stepping away from the church, but it's like a lot of people are looking more into spirituality, into um, paganism or tarot reading or to clairvoyant. They're looking into these different types of avenues and seeing different things out there. Um, and I don't know if it's just because of, the world and the way it is right now, that certain things don't seem to be working for people. And that was kind of one of my own experience. Like I said, we have to use what works for us. So yeah.
I don't know where I was going with this. So,
What, I'm sorry, what did I blow? Did I make you forget?
yeah,
Blow
kind
your
of,
train of
but
thought?
that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
Where was I going with this? Well, I'm pretty sure it wasn't anywhere special. It was probably right into a wall. Um, what was it? Okay, so darn it, what was I going to say? You know what? Don't even worry about it. Let's jump on to this
Choo
next thing
choo,
here.
train wreck right into that wall. Okay, do what?
Yeah, let's just go to the next thing. Okay, so now it's very weird because it's so opposite because you have a choice to listen to your guides. You do,
Mm-hmm.
you have that choice. You can listen to them, or you can ignore them, all that good stuff, and you can work with them.
Mm-hmm.
However, and I'm gonna bring up Tim Wood from Live Sci-Fi as an example of this because I've seen it enough times from watching. You have these demonic entities, and with them they get possessive, and I don't know if they go on a power trip or what, but it's been several times where, and you were on the Ouija board with him, and something would say like, "No, I own you. Like you're mine." That simple. It's like,
Okay.
what the heck? How does that happen?
Right. Fear. Well, they try to use fear. I will say Tim's learned to be very, like, he's not. He's very same when it comes, like myself, when it comes to not being afraid. Like I'm like, hello, like it's like both. What is it? Pot lead the kettle black, or what? Like pot leading, or calling the kettle black or something,
Yeah.
because he, like, as unafraid as I am. It's weird. It's like, and like, you have to know you're protected too. And me, I know that these things will not hurt me. I will not allow them to hurt me. And like, I have weird things happen, but it's like, have I ever, like, been floating up in the middle of the room? No. I've not had that happen. Like, just, I am very self protected in a weird way. And it's something that it's hard to explain, but it's almost like I've always done it. When I was a kid, maybe not so much. I remember probably the last time I was truly, truly, truly afraid, mm, about 6 years ago. Um, I was laying in bed, and I don't know if you've ever seen it was a long time ago, a couple of years back, but it was a post on Twitter where a shadow figure just like walked through my house and made itself known very well. And I had caught it on a security camera, not on, I wasn't trying to paranormal anything. I was like trying to ignore paranormal still at this point, or 6 years ago, yeah. Because I was literally dealing with leaving an abusive ex and so forth. And dealing with the paranormal is kind of like, that's not really what I want to deal with at the same time as all this other. Like, one little small step at a time, please. But, we don't always get what we want. And so right after that, I was kind of already heightened alert, noticing everything, trying not to, but still, it was what it was. Of course, I was going to notice it after that. And I'm laying in bed, and, well, two things. One, I'm laying in bed, kind of like, I'm a stomach sleeper, so I was laying on my tummy, and my hair I had just actually cutting it all off at that point, and so the little baby hair, something blew my hair, like like blew it with like a breath, and my hair's kind of fluttered up, and my eyes, I was closed my eyes, I wasn't quite asleep, but my eyes popped open, and I'm like, okay, If I freak out, it's going to realize that it can use this and it will torment me from here on out. And so, not that I wasn't scared, but I kind of just rolled over to where it couldn't do it again. You know what I mean? And I pull my covers up and just adjust and act like I was still asleep and try to ignore it. The second time it was gonna like it was like a few days later. It tried a lot harder, and I would say it woke me up from a dead sleep, and like literally my heart was already racing for whatever reason, and my eyes were closed, and for whatever reason, my guides, and I know it now, my guides were like, don't open your eyes, don't open your eyes, don't open your eyes. And I didn't. And I'm so glad I didn't, because like I don't know what was looming over me, but whatever it was, it did have me. I was pretty scared at that moment. And that was like the last time I could say that I was truthfully scared. Now, I didn't allow it to be known. Like I could have like flipped out and screamed and jumped up and and fed into it, and it would have been like, that's what I would call like a negative type of energy, one that you don't want to keep around,
Yeah.
because there's no reason for that to be there. It's not helping you. It's not trying to do anything positive for you. All it's trying to do is break you down for some whatever reason. And so I ignored it, and I haven't. That things I did some cleansing afterward. That's when I finally was like, okay. I went to this. Her name's Valentina Burton. She was an amazing psychic, and she really helped me kind of get started. She told me what mentor I needed to use and so forth, and and here I am. But it it took that. I guess it. So like, don't think you're the only hardhead, Melvin. It was something I dealt with off and on my whole life, but it took literally being woken up to the point of like, oh my God, there's something looming over me and I can feel it and I don't want to see what it is. Like since then, I've walked, and this was once, and this is a couple of years, about 2 years ago, if that. Um, I thought I thought I'd actually had somebody break in my home. It was a shadow figure, black shadow figure, and I thought it was a person though, because it was so like it was so solid. But I just like, so it was dark in my hallway, and I was going to the bathroom, and I walked into it, and I almost ran smack dab into it, and I realized that's not a person. Okay, because like if it was a person, you know me, I'm gonna get all, what are you doing in my house? And I realized, oh, this is not a person. So I'm like, oh, I don't really need to pee anyway. And I turned around and walked back and just waited. And it was fine, but it was weird. I was like, I don't, what it is like, so when it is the negative stuff, the best, I would say the best advice is don't feed it. Don't give, and that's so much easier said than done, because it took a long time for me, like, learning, that if I don't feed it that energy, they're not gonna, it's almost like, okay, like a troll on the internet. If you don't pay them attention, they're not gonna hang around to, frustrate you.
Yeah.
They're gonna be gone because it gets boring really quick. Well, same thing with them. They're not, oh, well, I'm not getting what I want from this person. I just might as well move on. And I'm kind of like, huh, okay, better. I'm sorry, but whoever I'm sending you to next, but better than me. I know that's a horrible way to be, but sometimes it's just the way you got to deal.
Well, no, that's my philosophy. Every man for himself.
I'm gonna be honest. Be honest.
Believe
I'm
me,
gonna be
like
honest. Like,
Bonnie,
send it on there on the road.
as much as I like you, if I'm being chased by a lion, you gotta go. I'm sorry.
Let Oh my gosh. Well, it's, I guess, I always tease my kids and said, you better learn to pull yourself up, because if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, the
Yeah,
weakest link.
so I am one of the biggest
And my kids
cowards.
will look at each other like, she's not playing.
No. So believe me, and I'm one of the biggest cowards you have ever met, and cowards survive. So
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's nuts. You would be funny. I can imagine you in a zombie apocalypse,
oh god,
Melvin.
no, get that.
That,
Everyone dies around me. Like that, I don't care who you are. You're getting it. You just no. You fart. You're
are
dead.
you gonna be baby food, send kicking babies out
I'm
like I
kicking
do?
everybody out. Believe me.
I always tease. I'm like, babies are bait in my zombie apocalypse. Sorry, babies, but
Yeah. So
you know,
so
what are your chances anyway? If your family doesn't survive, then you're baby bait. Baby bait.
so yeah. No,
I
I get
that
it.
sounds so bad, but it's kind of true.
Yeah. Well, that's that survival instinct.
We're we're animals.
Well, technically, yeah.
We are. We're animals. We are. Yeah, we are. We're, you know,
Yes,
sometimes we're the worst.
it happens.
You can see it when we're, the ugliness that we do every day. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm
are.
probably getting a finger wagging now. You don't really mean that. Stop it.
Chris says, poor babies. she's,
So,
she's so like, oh no, my gosh, these two.
yeah.
No,
So, but
like I wouldn't just willingly, but like if it's me or my kids have got to have me. And I don't know you, little baby, but you're kind of heavy and you smell bad. And
and you
yeah,
smell bad.
and you
Darn.
smell bad. You smell bad, baby.
Well,
No,
congratulations.
like,
You are evil.
so it's a good thing that there's not a zombie apocalypse. So I would be the devil have if there is.
I
Cause yeah, no.
totally understand. I get it.
Well, Melvin, you'll be my partner.
Didn't I just say I'm every man for themselves? You would not want me as a
Well,
partner. You wouldn't make it.
oh,
I'm just
listen.
I'm telling you right now. I'm being as honest as
Oh, he
possible.
said I wouldn't make it. Look at him. He's becoming vicious. Like, Melvin, I don't see viciousness in you.
It's very, very, very rare, but if it comes to
It
surviving,
comes.
yeah, like I
Or
told
like,
you
I
once.
am not gonna let this thing that's wanting brains, like, but if it wants brains, you'd be like a feast.
No, not with my one cylinder.
Oh. See, Chris, you're gonna go though because you're helping everyone. You can't stop and help everyone.
No, you just it's
See, Chris, we got a teacher. Like,
yeah, it's everyone or
yeah,
none.
like,
And if
it's,
someone is slowing you
she's
down,
like, I'm
man,
gonna stop
kick
and
them.
help everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna stop and help everybody, and I'm gonna. Oh, your brains are gone, Chris. You stopped, and guess what? That baby was a freaking zombie. Oh my goodness! So stop for the baby zombies. No. Oh my, that is too funny. But no.
You're terrible.
But
Now the true
unfortunately,
Bonnie has just came out, guys. Now we know.
is
Like,
that a good evil laugh? I don't know. I can do Gollum, but I don't know what that was. It was like a chipmunk.
that was who knows. But you know what?
Yes,
I think
very
this
awesome.
this is a good place to end it. So,
Yes, it is. You guys, we lost it.
oh gosh, that is creepy.
She hates does it. I can't. We lost our Melvins. Me too. She's so nice and so kind and so sweet. We love it.
That's so
And
disturbing.
thank you guys. A rabid chipmunk. It's supposed to. Hold on. If I can't get my quite to my. Okay, hold on. Hello, the hobbitses. We love the hobbitses. I can't. I do it at work. I do the Gollum at work for my
Oh no,
coworkers,
you
and
were
it
doing it
always.
fine, and it is creepy.
And my coworkers always are like, "Oh my god, stop! Oh my god, you creep me out! Stop!" And I love doing it because it always gets them. And we work at a place that is just creepy as heck anyway. And yeah, they never know with me. Unfortunate. I feel so bad for them sometimes, but I love them. My coworkers, they put up with so much from me.
Well, you're probably decently fun to work with.
I scared one of our contractors today. Literally, we have a little a big raccoon problem. Raccoons on the loose in the building we're working on, and my coworker thought he heard the trap go off, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" Well, we went to open it, and here comes the contractor behind us, like trying to see. And as soon as my coworker opens the door, I said, "Oh my god!" I screamed real loud, and the poor contractor, I thought he was gonna have a heart attack. He's an older dude, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." And I'm like giggling. I'm like, "I'm not sorry, but oh my god, are you okay?" Am I bad?
You're a
Yes, I
terrible person.
am. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in.
Hey, I do the outros here.
I'm just saying.
All right. Thank you all for coming and showing your support. We really appreciate it. And Bonnie, thank you for coming on late night for you. And
Awesome, always.
yeah, you shared a butt ton of information with us and really appreciate it. And you guys be sure to check out Bonnie's monthly tarot. November is up, and of course, I love this. The first one we put up, audio was jacked, but the video quality. No, wait, what was it? The audio was good, but the video quality was jacked. And then the second one we put up, the audio quality is jacked, but the video quality is good, which means next month is gonna be perfect. So be sure to
Absolutely.
tune in December 5th for the new Bonnie's monthly tarot. And that's gonna be awesome.
Yay.
And also,
Boop.
don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook and Twitter. And once again, thank you guys for coming out tonight and joining us. And remember, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi.
Nah.
Bye, everybody.
Yes. Bye.